we know what episode this is?
I think this is
9?
episode 12.
12?
12.
Remember
So that means we've been doing this now for 3 months.
Yeah.
This is our 90-day program.
Yeah, and so my morning, right? I'm going to talk about it because I'm a little bit flustered, and I was talking to someone this morning, and I was like, I know I'm suppressing an emotion this morning. I'm like, I don't know if I'm suppressing, I'm about to cry or I'm about to kill somebody. Like, it's just, my morning was just a tough one, right? And it was tough because I felt like, we always talk about it, for me especially, like the fitness stuff is a non-negotiable in my daily routine. I will sleep less, I will move anything to do it, and specifically I need to do it in the morning because mentally, and it's something that I heard from a YouTube video that I was watching, I feel like if I can do something extremely challenging in the morning, that I won't face anything as challenging as that for the rest of the day. So anything that comes to me, I'm like, well, I got this. I ran 6 miles this morning. Like if I could run 6 miles at 5 a.m., I can deal with this argument, right? So anyways, this morning I had an early morning meeting on site, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to do my normal F45 thing. So I woke up at 4 a.m. to run a 10K on the treadmill in my garage, which, by the way, and I don't know if you know Texas right now, but it's about 100 degrees at 5 a.m. And what made me frustrated is even waking up at 4 a.m. and doing it, I still was running behind, and I was late to a couple things, this, that, and the other. So I was just pissed off.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Your energy is off.
Yeah,
you're even speaking louder than you normally do.
So
you're normally like yellow.
I know. So I was flustered, and I was so flustered that I can't remember why I was making that point. So episode 12. Anyways.
Yeah, we're on episode 12.
Yeah.
That means 3 months. That means 90 days. That means
that's why I brought it up.
Go ahead.
Is because I was flustered that we had to film the podcast because I have other stuff going on today.
Yeah.
And I was remembering also what we keep hearing is like, you just need to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Every week, no matter what. I mean, we literally were sitting here 3 minutes ago figuring out what we were going to talk about.
ChatGPT and going, hey, this is what's going on this week. Give me some topics to talk about because...
Yeah. I mean, the quote that I posted today to Facebook, because that's really all I post to Facebook is quotes, was said, and it's loading here, but it said that a moving man will surely meet his luck.
Yeah. Activity breeds activity. That's, one of my great mentors, Ryan Houlihan. I want to shout him out. He was the first guy who hired me in my real serious job of being an asset manager for his portfolio. So he had purchased 150 homes at the time when I think I came on with him. All over East Point, Michigan, St. Clair Shores, all over these areas. He would buy these really good brick homes that were in great shape, and he would do a phenomenal rehab.
Yeah, I remember.
Put tenants in them, and that was my job. Assess the deal. Does it make sense? How much is it going to cost to fix it? Pencil the numbers. Does it make sense? Add it to the portfolio, and then run the construction, right? And his thing was always like shaking trees. But the thing that he drilled into my head every single day was activity breeds activity. And that's like the same thing you just said, right?
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, if you just stay consistent, you just stay pounding at the door, you're going to knock until eventually you knock a hole in the door, right? Like it's like water over a mountain. You think a mountain is rock solid, but water over hundreds of millions of years is going to give itself a path, right? Like it's just going to happen.
That's the hardest part about the phase that like we're in professionally. And I also think personally, I have that conversation with myself almost every single day because like the days are hard.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not complaining. It's okay.
It's just a lot.
Everyone's days are hard in different ways. I came across something this morning that also said, hey, just remember someone's waiting on a health scan report this morning, wondering if they can plan for their future. So I'm very grateful to be in the position that I am. I'm grateful to have the pressure that I have every day because having that pressure makes me feel like I'm living, like I'm doing something worthwhile and I'm not just floating through this life. But yeah, it's hard and you got to keep your foot on the gas. And I keep having my conversation with it. It's like, man, if I keep doing this stuff where I'm working when I'm supposed to work in and I'm dadding when I'm supposed to dad and I'm waking up early so I can get this done, like one day it's going to click and it's going to all make sense. But right now we're in that middle ground where you have to keep having that conversation of keep going.
Because it's a grind, dude. I mean, you think about it like you're a full-time dad. There's no help. There's no nothing. It's full-time dad. it's fitness for yourself, it's the business, it's the podcast. So not only do you build houses, multiple houses for multiple different style clients all over the DFW area, you're running and gunning constantly. You got to get off and make sure you pick your kids up. You got to make sure you get to the gym. You got to make sure dinner's ready. You got to make sure, I mean, you're doing it all, dude.
Yeah.
So it's like extremely overwhelming. And then on top of it, we do a podcast that we make $0 from.
I know.
Right. But it helps bring awareness to men's mental health, to what we do as a trade, to our coaching program, which has, been a pretty good success and quite a relief, honestly, to see it have some success. It's a lot, dude. It's a lot. Like I've always been, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, I've always been a person who, I love chaos. Like when it's chaotic, like I'm kind of like in my zone, you know what I mean? But like you are not a chaos kind of person. So it's like we handle things totally different.
But it's always chaos for me. So
but it's always chaos,
but it's cool. You build it up.
It's a hell of a lot more fun being in a chaotic environment, building multi-million-dollar homes for interesting people and being all over the place and doing all these things than it is going and punching a clock and having a job that you just are meh about and kind of, you know what I mean? Like comparing it to your insurance agency. It was really easy, I'm sure, at the end of your career, like towards the end of that. But it's like, I don't know, it kind of feels like it's a black and white TV and then now you're in color. And it's like...
Yeah, well, we've mentioned like that's the reason I came down here. And it's for sure, I'm realizing, even as we're having this conversation right now, you really just put it into perspective. Like the main reason why I retired from insurance, I mean, there were small reasons, but the main reason why, like, it was mundane. Yeah. Like it was very just... It was repetitive, and I had those conversations with myself. I don't know how old I was at that time, but I was like, man, is this like what the next 30 years of my life is going to look like? Yeah. And I can tell you one thing, of all the emotions I've had since I've been down here, like mundane has not been one of them.
No.
I mean, it's been high energy, chaotic, drinking from a fire hose, learning something new every day. And I guess the unique thing about it is, if you can step back from getting lost in all that chaos and see all the progress that you're making, those are those moments where you're like, okay, like it's all been worth it.
Yeah, you can't forget. Like, I know it seems crazy. Like I said, we've been on this podcast now for 3 months, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's a new thing, but it's doing its thing, right? It's growing. It's organically growing. Our pages are organically growing. We've got some people who reach out to us and say they love the podcast, this sort of thing. Like we're building something, and it's an ass kicking a lot of days. And I'm juggling website calls with one website, then a website call with the other website, and then an AI chat bot. And then I got to hook up all my social media profiles. And then we've got the chat responder, blah, 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 blah. On top of all this, I'm trying to price jobs. I'm trying to run a development. I'm trying to do, you know what I mean? It's like, honestly, I worked last night until like 7 o'clock, and I just kind of sat there and I'm like, dude, I've been on development calls after calls after calls, and like a fire hose, because the development stuff, again, it's something that's a little bit newer to us. We've got some experience, but like now running the development, it's just like, holy shit. And then I see like the content piece, like that content piece that I posted the other day about the pricing is really taken off. Like people really are interested in the pricing. So then I go into my spreadsheets and I've got 15 houses that we built, and I start creating columns going, okay, what was the average price per square foot for every single one of these things for a house? And what is the average cost per square foot to build the house? And, we got to take out the pool. And I'm doing all this mathematics stuff to try to, again, put it into a chat and get some real cool graphics that we can post, because people are interested in a lot of that stuff.
So I need to give you some credit on this. And we might have touched on this on a previous episode, but when we say development, I don't mean putting houses on a flat piece of land. That's not development,
no
okay?
Shit, dude.
When I'm talking about development, I mean finding out that the sanitary sewer has to connect to a lift station, and by the way, the lift station needs a generator, and you got to get with the civil engineer to make sure that the lift station can power it is not just bricks and sticks when it comes to development. I mean, you are doing all the municipalities, and there's a lot that goes into it. So when someone says that they're a developer, it's like, please elaborate on what a developer is.
It drives me absolutely bananas, because all these coaches, and I'm not going to name names, are talking about, I'm a real estate developer. I'm a real estate developer. No, just because you have a piece of land and you develop a home on it, you're a fucking builder.
Yeah.
You're a home builder. You're a custom home builder. You're luxury, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. You are not a real estate developer. A real estate developer takes blank raw land, okay, puts in streets, puts in utilities, goes through municipalities, goes through mud, goes through all these different things. A real estate development, there's two different types of this game. And I promise you this, the real estate developers, listen to a guy who builds homes talk about he's a real estate developer and they're laughing at you. Okay. You're getting clowned on because you look like an idiot. You're not a real estate developer. The real estate developers do horizontal construction. Okay. That means this way, horizontal. I'm doing roads. I'm doing utilities. I'm doing electrical. I'm doing a freaking, the fire hose, the fire hydrants.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying? All of that horizontal work is a real estate developer. A builder is someone who comes along and builds vertical. Right? There's two different sides of this. There's horizontal, that's a real estate developer, and the vertical, you're a home builder. You're a custom home builder. You can say you're a real estate developer all you want. You're not. Maybe you're doing it for keywords. I don't know. I'm glad you brought that up because it drives me insane to hear these guys like, oh yeah, I'm a real estate developer. No, you're not, bro. You buy land, you tear down houses, and you build a house. That's a home builder, dude.
Yeah.
That's a home builder. You're a custom home builder. I get it, but you're not a real estate developer. Very, very big difference there.
Developer is the game to get into, though.
Bro, that's the game. I mean, you got to have much more money. You got to have much more expertise. You got to do a lot more politics with cities and municipalities and mud and all these different things, right? Like, that's a whole nother game. And being able to take raw land and build 20 lots and sell 10 of those lots and make all your money back for that development and then have 5 lots free and clear to go and build custom homes on, now you're a real estate developer.
And not raw land with pads and dirt already there. I'm talking raw land with trees where there's never been a sewer or an electrical or a fire hydrant or anything like that. I mean, true raw
You're
land.
bringing utilities.
Yeah.
Okay. You're bringing the sewer system. There is no sewer. There's no nothing. You are bringing it all there.
Yeah.
Right. They just don't, they get it confused and it just kind of drives me nuts.
Is your logo straight on your microphone?
I don't know. Is my logo straight, guys? Can you see it?
Yeah. So I wanted to touch on that. Okay. So I got a couple things noted in
Let's
here.
talk about what you're doing this week. Like, okay, you just had an electrical walk this morning.
Yeah.
So talk about what happens on electrical walk. Like,
cool.
Many people don't know, like, because when we get our plans done, what's wrong? Who cares? I don't care.
Okay.
Look, if you can see this, you're cool. If you can't, I don't care. Okay, get over it. If you don't know what you're watching, something's wrong with you.
It's a cool logo though.
It is a cool logo. Thanks, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
One shot at it. Didn't have a revision at all. This is what I want. Pumped it out. Again, we're off to the races, baby. Maybe it'll change in the future. Who knows? Anyways, the electrical walk.
Yeah.
Most people think, oh, well, when you get your plans, you have all your electrical drawn out. Yeah, okay, that's fair. You do. Most of your electrical, most of your switches, most of your plugs, most of that stuff has to be code. But then you kind of go through a house and like, well, that switch doesn't really make sense over there. It needs to maybe move over there. Maybe there needs to be add light here. So talk about, again, your perspective of an electrical walk. Because mine is a little bit different. Mine is, I'm trying to get this shit done. It's hot, and I want to confirm where things are at based off the plans. I really don't want you to add anything. I'm not trying to nickel and dime you and make a couple more dollars to change a bunch of stuff and give myself more work. I want to confirm what's here and move on down the road. That doesn't always happen.
No. So if it's a spec home where there isn't a client involved, it's an easy walk, right? You bring your designer in there. Most of the stuff is going to be per plans. Believe it or not, the plans has got plenty and all you need for a house. But when you have a client, it's a whole different ballgame. So this particular job, I have a very, very highly prepared client, thank God. But it is a all hands on deck meeting. You're going to have your electrician there. You're going to have the clients there. You're going to be there. Your designer's going to be there. Your AV guy is going to be there. And really, if you have a security guy, he can join in towards the tail end of the meeting.
As he should, honestly.
But so this particular client, he did a nice job where he had marked up plans and a Word document that he sent us a week in advance. I was able to distribute that to all the vendors and let everyone do their pre-case work. So it was a very prepared meeting, but we still were on site for 2 hours and 45 minutes. You are basically walking room by room, outside, inside, and you are going through everything that's on the plans and trying to think ahead. It's something to where you're going to want to have your cabinet plans hung up, your appliance plans hung up, your plumbing selections hung up. So that way you go in every single room, you know what's what, what needs a dedicated circuit, and if the client wants quad plugs and TV outlets and all these things. So basically, we all get on site, we grab those plans, and like I said, you're going from room to room, looking at what's on the plans, looking at what the client wants, and you are marking things up and getting a game plan ready for when your electricians come out and rough in the house. It's a much more thorough and a much more longer walk than you're going to have with plumbing, than you're going to have with HVAC, because like you said, every switch is planned out, every outlet is planned out. Some rooms they know for sure are going to get a TV, so we'll do the outlet up high. Other rooms they might get a TV, so we'll keep the outlet down low, and then if AV comes back, they'll run it up, but at least they won't have an outlet at eye height, in that room. Whether they want a quad outlet here, if this requires, we were in their gym today. right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that they didn't think about was the power draw of, gym equipment. So they mentioned that, they were going to have a treadmill in there. Well, it's like, I have a treadmill at my house. It requires a dedicated 30 amp circuit and it can't be on a GFCI. And it's just that treadmill, can be on there. They're saying they got a row machine, a bike, a treadmill, all this stuff. These are things that want to be planned ahead. You start getting around to the outside of the house, you're thinking about Christmas tree circuits, Christmas tree lights, landscaping circuits, all the floodlights. But it's very detailed, right? Every single item is like, well, is this going to be a floodlight or is this going to be a Ring security camera floodlight? Like, what's the game plan? So the more
do you need Ethernet?
Yeah, the more prepared the client is, the better. And that's why the AV guy is there. Do we want things hardwired? Do we?
Yeah, everything should be hardwired.
Everything's on Cat 6, the pool equipment, the generator. So yeah, it's great. The more preparation you do for this walk, and the more you nail on that walk, the easier everything is moving forward. So when I have a client, I'm certainly not going to that meeting and thinking, how quickly can I get out of here? I'm thinking, let's get done what they want to get done. I don't want the client to feel like we're rushing in because there are decisions that are made.
Yeah.
But trust me, we got an electrical walk coming up on our spec home, and I'm going to be there for like 20 minutes. And we're like, can light, cool, switch, whatever. Because at the end of the day, nobody walks into it and is like,
well, that's the thing, right? You don't notice what you don't know, right? And so, like our AV guy, we come with eight different windows that are going to be wired for shades.
Yeah.
You got your speakers that are going to be standard. You've got your tower, which is going to be somewhere in an AV closet, right? You've got security wiring. All those standard things are included, right? It's not like but homeowners, they want to add a bunch of stuff, right? Like when I'm a builder and I'm doing a spec, I'm trying to make money.
Correct.
If you want to plug in a different deal here or do, you know what I mean? That's on you. I got direct lines where I need direct lines for the appliances and that sort of thing. And I got a couple home runs for the gym maybe, but like I'm not getting crazy with it. I'm not overthinking it. I'm here to make money.
Yeah, this client, it's a beautiful house. The house is going to blow everyone away when it's done.
Yeah,
it
is
going to
be the best house in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and he's got, we have sensors going into the bathroom vents, so that way when they detect a certain level of humidity, and these are in the secondary bathrooms too, by the way, when the bathroom gets to a certain level of humidity, the exhaust fan kicks on.
Love that. And they added one of those in the gym too, right?
No, they actually decided against that.
Oh, really?
They don't want an exhaust fan in the gym. We talked about that on site.
Okay.
It's not something that they're going to end up doing. The gym's ventilated with HVAC anyways, and they're not doing anything crazy in there. But no, they don't want it.
Okay.
But even this client, a lot of times I know we never will do plugs in the backsplash of like our main areas, but this guy, they're going plug molds in the cat wash, and there's plug molds in the laundry room, and
so nothing exposed.
There's none of the backsplashes have plugs in them. There's under counter lighting and everywhere. So this is just a very, very, very custom home.
Very, yeah.
Where every single room there is a game plan for. And another thing is too, when you're on this walk, and this is the craziest part about it, you're also catching things for the other trades. I'm like talking to the client like, oh, okay, plug mold's over here. And then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, Mr. Plumber, this stack has got to come off the framing. Otherwise it's going to vibrate and you're going to hear noise. Or, hey, framer, this pocket hasn't been done yet. Or I'm reaching out to the concrete guy. I need you to touch this up real. Oh yeah, that outlet over there.
Constantly.
Because you're in there and you have eyes on the whole house.
You're really walking through thoroughly.
Yeah, it was really good. You should see everyone's marked up plans after this meeting. It looks like Egyptian hieroglyphics because there's just so much.
Are you doing that on the tablet that you have?
No, not today, because he actually had sent us, again, this client, he had sent us marked up plans. So I printed them on the Super Bee and I just went by pen. And I hate to admit this because I spent money on the tablet and the software for marking it up, but the pen and the plans was way easier.
I know.
The old school way is like...
I know. And I hate it because I'm always like, where's your damn tablet? We got a tablet.
Man, I tried to get fancy. That's the first time in a long time that I just printed the Super Bee and rolled up with paper and pen.
Yeah.
And
Super Bee is the big paper, so it prints out
and
pretty
it was
big.
just, it's so easy just be like, sconce.
Yeah.
On the app, I'm like, select the tool. I got the little pen, like...
Yeah.
I don't know.
And just so you guys are aware, we did about $500,000 of dirt work, retaining walls, and site development on this project. But again... I don't really consider that being a real estate developer. Like it's part of the lot. It's part of the pad. You got to build the pad up. You got to put retaining walls in, that sort of thing. You are developing the lot, but you're not a real estate developer. It's part of your build. It's just a part of what we do.
Yeah, that's like
If anything, I would say that
That's
gets you that gets
landscaping.
you close to being a real estate developer
Yeah.
because there's a substantial amount of stuff that had to go on there with engineering and everything else. But again, the guys calling themselves real estate developers are buying teardowns in the city. You know what I mean?
No.
And okay, so I said something earlier I said it's going to be the nicest house in the neighborhood. One of the questions we have today that we got from chat in the back and forth is should you build the most expensive house in the neighborhood? And that is a two-part question. So should you build the nicest house in the neighborhood? If it's a developed neighborhood that is established and you have like the last lot left, or you're tearing down a house and that's that sort of thing, and you want to build the nicest house and those values have been proven already in the neighborhood, then yeah, I think you can. We do it all the time, right? Especially for clients. Clients will build the nicest house in the neighborhood. However, if it's an unestablished neighborhood where there's a lot of construction going on, or maybe your coaching guru puts you on the same street of 4 other students and you guys are all building together, then no, I would not want to build the nicest house in the neighborhood. I would want to be high, but I wouldn't want to be the nicest, right? I want to undercut the other guys. I want to sell mine first. I want to have all the bells and whistles, but I kind of, you know what I mean? That's a slippery slope there. So if it's an existing neighborhood, great. If it's not, then yeah, I would be a little bit more careful with that.
So I'm going to piggyback off your question there, because what that leads me to ask is, where do you think that clients could dial back the budget? Like, what is something that clients spend a lot of money on, and it's like, man, I like, you roll your eyes at it sometimes.
Yeah, I would say, oh my God, the first thing that comes to mind, honestly, is the Lutron. Yeah. Like, I get it. Everybody wants the coolest, latest, and greatest technology in their house. Really cool. Lutron is a massive pain in the ass. People are constantly calling, going, I can't get it to work. I can't figure this out. The wickedy. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's expensive as hell. I mean, it's very expensive. Yeah. And we do it all the time. We do it for our clients. We're doing it for 2 clients right now. It is something we do all the time. For me personally, if I were to say, hey, where could I save some money? You could save $100,000 not doing your Lutron, right? I don't need fancy panels and a digital keypad that controls everything in my house. I'm old fashioned, right? I'm a simple guy. I grew up in a trailer park. I can flip a switch on the wall and be totally fine with that. I can have wall switches that sense motion and call it a day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need all that extra fancy stuff. So that would be the one thing to me, which is why when we bid a house, we include the standard package for our AV, which is, just like I said, the pre-wire and the tower and the, a couple shades or whatever. But we don't get in all that. Yeah. We hand you to an AV guy, you can go crazy, but we don't want that because it inflates our numbers and kills our dollar amount. So, again, we'll manage it, we'll take care of it for you, but that's not something that we typically want to push out there, because it just really inflates the value.
I don't
what
think,
about you?
No, I agree with you. And we were talking about this earlier. We both said the same thing, but you just said something that I think you said it so fast, but it was a really good point. You said that when you're pricing out a house, which obviously the price per square foot and how much we can do the house for is really how we sell a job. You said that you only bid the house for an AV pre-wire, which is like less than $5,000. No,
it's about $7,000.
Or $7,000, sorry, it's $7,500. Yeah. And you don't specifically put all the Lutron stuff in there because it will kill your budget. So I think students or coaching or anybody doing this kind of thing, you need to know, like, hey, when it comes to the AV stuff, just price out a pre-wire at $7,500. Don't go in there and put a $50,000 to $100,000 line item for Lutron, and then all of a sudden your price per square foot goes through, because that's not needed for the house. That's a luxury.
Exactly.
And I'm with you in the same way.
And you can retrofit it afterwards with Lutron.
You can.
So like, if they want to do it, let them do it.
Yeah, but. and I'm with you. It doesn't drive me crazy, but for me, I guess I kind of get it on like our Farmers Branch project when the house is north of 10,000 square feet. Like, you got to walk a half a mile to turn something off.
Everything's cameras.
But even at that, it's just like
it just overcomplicates things.
It's so expensive. And I look at the scenes, right? Because they program those switches to the scene. So you press one button, all of a sudden the foyer light, but it's like, what if I want one light off in that scene? I don't want that scene. Yeah. And I don't know. It just overcomplicates it.
It's cool, right?
It's cool to show off.
Really cool technology, and it's great to show off. If you're asking me what I would cut from budget, like, that's not.
Do you think it moves the needle when a house is for sale and it has Lutron compared to if it doesn't have Lutron?
I do think if you're in a price point that's like $4 million and up, I do think that that's something that people do like to see, right? Okay. It gives you the wow factor. When you come in and you can see it working. I tell you what, 6 months after, when you can't figure out how to do this or turn on the light, it's driving you nuts, then it's like a different thing. Yeah. Joe put, what was that guy he put in his house? It's like that super smart,
I forget his
secure
name.
system.
Yeah.
like Ned or something like, I forget what
I
it
don't
was.
know, but
Josh AI or
yes,
something like that. Yeah. He's like, Josh, play music in this room. Josh, do the, and he even said, he's like, dude, I wish I would have just did Amazon Alexa and Sonos, because it was just like such a pain in the ass.
And I'm seeing that with a lot of our clients. They are going to the Sonos. They just, you know, it's so easy. And even our AV guy recommends it. The Power Out is also with the Lutron thing. I think about, like, you know, a lot of these people go on vacation and stuff, have house sitters, stuff like that. Like, how do you explain to the house sitter, like, how your stuff works? Like, oh, if you want to turn on this light, you gotta.
Dude, I remember, like, so when we lived in Michigan, we were friends with Eminem and his little brother and all that. When we were at his house and he had this freaking iPad, and I'm just like, bro, how do I turn this TV on? Like, I don't even know how to work the damn TV. There's no, like, 15 buttons to get the power and then switch to this. Same thing with my mother-in-law, my old mother-in-law, Faye. She's got this damn remote that I was just like, took forever to figure out how to use it, right? And she had AV people at her house constantly trying to, like, you know what I mean? It just, again, it's one of those things. If I could cut it out of the budget, that's the first thing I think would go.
Yeah.
Because it does push the envelope. I mean, some of these bigger houses, they're $250,000 in some of this stuff. So,
and we talked about the importance of the electrical walk. We hit on that. That's something that you're going to do, and it's one of the most important walks. And also in that same subject, as far as walk importance is, I believe, before you go to insulate the house and before you go to sheetrock the house, especially if it's a client build, get the client in there for one more walk with the designer, with you, and walk the house. Make sure the niches are correct, the electrical's where it's supposed to be, the plumbing's where it's supposed to be. Now's the time to make any of those changes before you start doing your encapsulation and doing your sheetrock. And now every time you got to move something, it costs, costs 3 times the amount, because you're repairing sheetrock or fixing paint, this, that, and the other. So that's going to be another
thing too, when I'm doing that, and this is something we always do, this is a non-negotiable, before we button up those walls, before we actually insulate, everything's done. The pipe's done, the water lines are done, the electrical's done, the condensate lines, everything is done. We're getting ready to insulate this house. We go around and slowly film the entire house. What's in the ceiling, what's on every single wall, because at the end of the day, when you're going to do things, change things, move things, you have a leak somewhere or something, you can go back and look at that photo and see exactly what's in that wall, right? If you don't know and you're like, well, what could it be? Like, or I'm going to hang this picture. Is there anything in this wall? Well, yeah, there's a condensate line right there. There's a couple water lines there. Like, again, you don't see it on the slab anymore because we got a floor in this house. I like to be able to see that. And especially, again, if there's like a roof leak or if there's any kind of something going on that looks like, oh shit, we've got a problem here, you can go back to that and say, okay, well, there's a drain here. It could be this. There's a water line here. It could be this. Like, it just, I'm telling you, it's a CYA thing. And we do the outside too, the exterior. I want to know what everything looks like before we button that thing up. Because again, it's important. If you ever need to look back on it and don't have it, you'll know why it's important.
Yeah. And I'm like, you just touched on too, like, I get it. Like, for all the builders and the content, like, marking the slab is cute until the wood floors are down.
Exactly.
And now that's gone.
Exactly.
So we had a question come in from the other day when you were on a coaching call with one of our students, and they were doing something that was a little bit below our budget. And the question they asked was, do you think the client cares more about the build quality or the finishes of the house? And you had kind of mentioned that in our experience, a lot of times the husband's very focused on the build quality, where the wife is focused on the finishes.
Absolutely.
But where do you go with that?
I mean, I'm the same way, right? Like, at the end of the day, if it's just a home that I plan to build and live in for a short period of time and then I'm going to sell, I care a little bit less about spray foam or sheathing or piers or any of the, you know what I mean? But if it's a home that I plan on living in for an extended period of time, I care about piers. I care about what kind of sheathing. I care about what HVAC and the ventilation and what kind of, there's a lot more of the quality aspect that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously the women, they care about the fixtures. They want to be able to show it off. They want to, all the nice, all that jazz, right? So, I mean, it's a little bit of both, but it's definitely like the husband focuses on quality and the wife tends to focus on fixtures and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, we're really at the price point that we're at, the build quality is superior and the fixtures are custom. So everything is thought of, accounted for. And then we get our clients that are just very savvy in that too. Yeah. You should see the electrical walk that I was on today. I mean, there's surge protection at the outside panels. There's surge protection at the inside I mean, it's.
There's another thing too that came up with coaching this week. I got one of our students that's looking for a lot for himself. And he's a coaching student, but he's learning to build a house for himself, for him and his wife. And he's a veteran. And I've been really adamant trying to help him out, and he's a great guy. The issue that I'm running into is, he's been looking at lots that are large lots in these like McKinney areas and Heath and Rockwall and some of these areas where it's like a huge lot, 1 acre lot or a 2 acre lot for 250 or 150. He's got a total budget of like 900K. And the issue that I'm running into with him, again, if you want to build your own personal house here, it's less of an issue. But like when I go and run, like even building a house for $185 a square foot on this lot, and I plug in the lot and the numbers and the interest and all the things and spit it out as far as a resale, the highest comps I'm getting in that area are like 230 to 250 a foot.
Shit.
And so it's really hard to make sense of an investment property with those numbers, because it's like you build it for 185 plus you got the lot, and then you're basically it was like net. It was worth what he had put into it at that point. And so it becomes very difficult when you're trying to target those more rural areas, because you're getting a deal on much more land for much cheaper. And so I told him, I'm like, look, I plugged this in the chat, and I always resort to that because it just does so much easier homework for me. And I'm like, these are the areas that I know you want land, and that could come down the road. But if you want something that you can sell in 5 years and make $500,000 on and keep that money because it's, you don't have to pay the
the
capital
1031
gains tax. Yeah. Well, no, capital gains tax, right? If you're primary residence. So, and that's his goal. I'm like, you really need to look more at smaller lots in areas where the price per square foot on the sale side is higher. So it's like Grapevine, it's like Keller, it's like, some of these areas that are a little bit older homes, but you can get these small 9,000 square foot lots that, again, it might be smaller than you want, but you can build a house here and then in 5 years really make some money on it. It's not what you want, right? So you kind of got to get in your head, like you got to kind of build up, because people who go and buy 1 acre out there, I mean, listen, if you want to live in it, and I'm sure it'll appreciate, we're in DFW, everything's going to, but I can't tell you from an investment standpoint, that's going to work and you're not going to be upside down at any point, right? Because again, we don't know what the market's going to do and the interest rates and all the damn things. But yeah, I've been kind of running into that. So I've kind of steered him more towards the Grapevine area, because it seems like there's lots that you can get under 300,000 that you could build on, and then the price per square foot is really good.
Your Excel spreadsheets are gold. I mean, they are.
Wait till you see this.
They're like, they're proprietary information. Yep. So they will be made available. I mean, what coaching are they available in the Accelerator?
There's some of them that are Accelerator has everything, right? So everything you want, I'll give you access to all that stuff.
I mean, these are life-changing.
Yeah,
spreadsheets.
I mean, it's because it's real data. It's real pricing on
and
real
you've made
homes.
it so you've locked the cells, so you can't, like, an idiot can't even go in there and screw it up. Like literally, you've locked the cells. You got the directions. Like it is underwriting that you would, like I said, I mean, I look at them, you're such a spreadsheet guy, and I'm like, a monkey could do that. A monkey could figure out if this real estate deal was good or not.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not napkin math.
No, especially what I'm working on right now.
This is legit.
It is 15 sheets combined into one, which is basically all of the homes that we've built to date. I have the pricing sheet for that we've submitted to the bank. And obviously some of the allowances, they blow it out, or maybe they save a little bit of money, but these are standard across the board. And I've compiled all the data into one sheet, which basically gives me the price per square foot on every item. I mean, something as small as hardware, it's like 17 cents per square foot of the house, right? Like I've got everything drilled down so tight, and I know what percentage it is. I know what price per square foot it is. I know what price per square foot it is for area under roof. And so when someone sends me a house plan based off bedrooms, bathrooms, and all these things, I can plug it into this system and say, it'll cost me about this much to build that house. Yeah. Now, obviously, you got 10% this way, 10% that way. But this is something, because somebody came to me and said, I was going to say, can you get me quick bids on 10 specs? And I'm like, yep, let me finagle this spreadsheet. Boop, boop, boop. Here's all the actual data. I'll plug it in. Boom. Now, I will say, a lot of the homes we've built were for clients. And a lot of these clients, they have $70,000 appliance packages. They have very expensive stuff. So I will just tell you now, the one number that I looked at last night is I took all the pools out, all the solar panels out, all the golf simulators out, and I just took the cost of which it's cost us to build a house for a client and for our specs, right? But I included our builder fee, and our average cost to build a house is $356 per square foot. Now, look, I know there's guys building much cheaper. I know there's guys building much more expensive. That's pretty much across the board. A lot of our specs are coming in $275 to $325. A lot of our homeowner houses are coming in at $400 to $500 a square foot. It just depends. The smaller the house, the higher the square foot price, right? So you could have this exact same house with the same fixtures, and you have more square footage, and it is going to be less obviously price per square foot than the smaller house, right? Because you're condensing all of these. If you have a 4-bedroom, 4-bath house, that's 4,200 square foot versus a 4-bedroom, 4-bath house that's 5,500 square foot. There's going to be a pretty significant difference in the cost per square foot because you have a lot more square footage here, but the same amount of bathrooms, bedrooms, kitchens. And again, the bathrooms, the kitchens, the things that have cabinets and appliances and faucets and fixtures, that's where the money comes from, right? So, we've built 4,000 square foot houses that were $550 a square foot because it has a 6-car garage that's not included in the square footage with a boat garage. And you know what I mean? So it's that number can fluctuate so much, but on average, it was interesting to see we're about $350 a foot.
Yeah, those spreadsheets are gold. I mean, imagine having the resources to where an opportunity gets put in front of you where a developer's like, hey man, I need you to price out 15 houses. And you would normally you'd say, no, I have no idea what I'm doing. But literally you would be able to give a coaching client the tools and be like, listen, I can give you these tools and you can go ahead and within 24 hours give them an answer. And you could land this whole deal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's life-changing.
And again, the prices are changing across the board from different cities and different states. So that's why when we do have, I don't know if this lady's coming in here or not, but so again, when the pricing changes from state to state, when our clients are building these homes, they're putting all of their information and all their documents into our master spreadsheet,
Correct.
master folders. So then we actually can help them. Hey, look, this guy in Michigan built, these were his vendor prices for all the different things. And so we can kind of help you tune in on that stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a master. It'll be a master key. And I should say, you mentioned our build price per square foot. I know there's always going to be people online that are going to make comments about that. Oh my God, this. I should say that price comes with using the best vendors in the DFW area.
Best materials.
Notice I did not say
Sub-Zero appliances.
Yeah. Notice I did not say cheapest vendors in the DFW. I mean the guys that do it right the first time. The guys that, if they're an issue, say no problem and fix it the next day. The guys that when you're driving down the freeway, you see their trucks you see their trucks going down the road. They're not, they're showing up, they're insured, they're licensed. I mean, these are the people you want building your house.
And mind you, these are cost plus homes. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are not making a huge, our average profit on the houses was 15%.
Right. Because
we've got some that are 20. Again, if you're building a 3,000, 4,000 square foot house, it's 20% no matter what. You're building a 10,000 square foot house, I want that job. So I'm aggressive. There was a couple in there that we had at 10% because again, it's a big house. There's lots of bells and whistles. We're still going to make a great amount of money on this house. And so that number fluctuates, but it's not like these are all cost plus jobs, which is how we prefer to roll. And it's not like the profits were insane. There were a few spec houses in there that we made some good money on, which I'm going to share. I'll do a webinar on that and show this is the house I'm talking about. These are what these things cost. And I just made an Instagram post today with some actual numbers of a $3.2 million house that we did in Southlake, showing you what the cabinets, what the flat work, what all the different key factors are. Mallory pointed out I did miss cabinets, which I gave it to chat and I didn't put it in there for some reason. It was $90,000 on that house. But I started posting these to Instagram and people are really liking to see kind of what goes into the house.
Great traction there.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're getting close to our time frame on here. One thing that you just mentioned, I want to make sure everybody understands and I'll just let you go with it. But the cost plus, what are you talking about, Carl?
So there's two different ways that a builder prices a house. One way is cost plus and one way is fixed cost. So the cost plus means whatever it costs to build this house, I'm going to get bids, hard bids, and put a number together. This is what it costs to build this house plus my percentage, right? If it costs $1.5 million to build this house plus my 20%, that's cost plus. Everything's transparent. You get to see every invoice. You get to see every estimate. You get to see you have to approve every final invoice, whether it's you or the bank, doesn't matter. That's cost plus. That's how we work because we're very transparent and we want to make sure that the client feels comfortable with that. We're not getting over on them. Again, we're a new business. Most of the guys who have been in the business for 20 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be, they're established builders. They've got clients knocking at their doors and calling them constantly. They're fixed costs because they can pick and choose their clients. We're still out here trying to build a name for ourselves and a reputation for ourselves that we're good builders. And so we are not fixed costs unless it's a spec. If we do a spec, it's fixed costs because we're going to build it, we're going to finance it, we're going to put all the money into it, and then we're going to sell it at market, right? But if you're building a house with us, we're going to be cost plus. Fixed cost basically is here's everything it's going to take to build this house. The market price is $2.7 million and everything's fixed. The only thing you get to see is your allowance items. Here's what we have set aside for appliances. Here's what we have set aside for doors and windows. Here's what we have set aside for fixtures and that sort of thing. And you have this much to spend. You can blow that out of the water. You can save that. Doesn't matter. The fixed cost is the fixed cost. Anything you go over on your budgets will be added to that fixed cost price, but you will not have clarity. You will not be able to see how much landscaping actually costs, or the grass actually costs, or the paint, or the drywall, or any of these things. It's just, this is the cost. We're going to make money. And I can guarantee you 9 out of 10 times, and we do the same thing on fixed cost builds that we build as specs, we make way more money. When we build a client's house, it's this is the cost plus our fee.
Right.
But if we're financing it and we're doing all the back end work, we got to pay an investor or whatever the case may be. It's fixed cost, and we're going to make more money. And that's how, most of the seasoned builders are all fixed cost.
Yeah, you make more money because you take more risks, right?
100%.
So fixed cost.
Because if you mess up on something, you eat it.
Yeah, you got to be ballsy with fixed costs.
Yeah.
Now, fixed costs, I'm going to put your framing in there. I'm going to say it's $200,000. Well, guess what? If it goes through engineering and I end up framing this house and it comes in at 150, I'm keeping 50 grand.
Yep.
And we're going to capital growth.
Same way, if it's 225 grand, you're losing 25 grand
on
of your
McDonald's
profit. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So the cost plus just works better for us. I feel like the clients appreciate the transparency. Maybe one day soon, when our doors are getting knocked down by clients who are dying to have us build, then we can look at fixed costs. But you really need to have the experience with that. We're learning still every single day, and even though I feel like we've done a great job at all of our lessons, this is still an industry where, man,
yeah,
you learn something new every day.
You definitely do. And it never ceases to amaze me how many challenges you have to overcome constantly. So
cool.
Yeah, that was a good show. We had a lot of good conversation there, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Check out the podcast on YouTube if you want to watch it at home. Give us 5 stars on Spotify. I'm really trying to boost those Spotify numbers up. So if you guys follow it on Spotify, give it a like on Spotify, whatever the case may be. I'd like to get this thing kind of going. And definitely follow us on Instagram. Dallas Builders Club is the handle. DFW Custom Home Builder is our Dean & Co. Handle here for the business. And that's it. We'll see you guys next week.
Cool.